So we are here with Stefano Carta, one of our local Italian players, and we thought we'd just kind of have a little bit of a chat. So firstly, welcome.
Thank you guys for having me.
Secondly, what's it like having a special event that you can just roll out of bed? And you're right that I've never had a special event this close to my house.
I think when they announced it, it was the best gift ever from Pokemon, because it's a special occasion for me, and thank you, Pokemon.
Is there added pressure because it's your local event?
I mean, in some part, yes, but I'm fine with it since it's 10 minutes from my home, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I've never had a Pokemon event 10 minutes from my home. That is
EUIC was for me. I was literally a tube stop away. It was perfect.
I mean, 5-hour train, tube stops, basically the same thing.
The same.
So you've been around for a few years now. You've played a few events this year. You're sitting at 100 points at the moment. Yes. So the invite is within reach if you have a top 4 finish this weekend. How confident are you feeling? You're on your home turf. It's a home event. Do you feel like you're going to have a good event?
Yeah, I'm actually going for the top 4 finish. I believe I can do that, and so let's hope for some luck as well, because you're gonna need it if you want to do well in tournaments. And I'm confident with my deck. Well, let's hope for the best.
I was gonna say, well, that leads to the obvious question. What deck? What deck have you chosen?
I'm not sure I'm able to do to say that, but it's will be probably a Lost Box variant for this weekend.
Lost Box looking so good right now. We won't go into details of which type, but with Lost Box, there's a lot of people who are going to be struggling in the next format when we see Iona come out. Is this kind of like Lost Box last event, do you think?
I'm not really sure, because Lost Box has so many answers to everything in the meta. So for example, when you got Roxanne and Pat as well, you can always find a way out. So I'm not particularly scared of that, but it's a great card. We'll see 4 off in every deck, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one we see hitting the table quite often. So with a deck like Lost Box, there are some decks, like for instance your Turbo Mew build, that is going to look largely the same no matter who plays it. Lost Zone is not that kind of deck. There are many different tech attackers you can use, different energy lines, different strategies. How do you make that decision when you're going through doing the testing? How do you decide which variant of Lost Box you go for?
Actually, I have this habit before a tournament where I have to choose a deck, and not only for Lost Box but for every deck. I go and see the last event, which did good, and what do I expect from the next tournament, and I base my choice on that, since we are in the place right now where the decks are out there, so you're basically should know how to play that, and your choice is based only on meta game, I should say. Mew
did very well at Malmo. Has that been considered in your Lost Box decision?
Yeah, actually I played Turbo Mew in London, but I got wrecked by some very bad hands in certain games, and for Lost Box, we should put Drapion back, I guess.
I mean, Drapion is pretty good against Mew. Now, you mentioned London there. We were having a bit of chat before we started rolling here, and you were saying, you've top cut at regional events. You had a second place at a special event a few years ago here in Italy on your home turf. But you said, the big goal you've yet to achieve is that big finish at an international championships. Now, obviously, we've got hopefully a few of them coming up next season. What is your preparation going to be like for those? You've set that out as your goal for yourself or what you want to achieve. So how does your preparation change for something like an internationals?
For international, you have to look at the numbers, because for example in London we had 1,500 players, so that can be tough, and you have to choose a deck that it's very consistent. Besides, maybe it's a tech out deck, so you have to win 11 or 12 games to top cut, so you have to be as consistent as possible. So maybe for London I should have played Gardevoir, but Lost Box is also a great deck in consistency, so that's where my head at is when preparing for a big tournament like that.
Well, I love hearing all that discussion about decks and about how we prepare for tournaments. We are unfortunately out of time for now, but we're not out of questions. So I think a little bit later, we're going to have a little bit more of a chat with Stefano, and I think that's going to be an awful lot of fun.